I never thought my biggest battle would be waiting for me back home. For 12 grueling years, I'd served in the United States Army Special Forces, completing 6 combat deployments across Afghanistan and Iraq. My name is Derek Rains, 41 years old, a veteran who thought he understood sacrifice, until I discovered what my wife had done while I was serving my country. The scorching heat of the Kandahar province had been my reality for the past 8 months. As a communications and intelligence specialist, my days blended into an endless cycle of radio transmissions, encrypted communications, and constant vigilance. Each mission demanded laser-focused attention, with the lives of my team depending on my precision and skill. Back home in Tucson, Arizona, my wife Elena managed our finances, our modest 2-bedroom ranch, and our teenage daughter Sophia's daily life. My last deployment had been particularly intense. Our unit was tracking insurgent communication networks, decoding complex signal patterns that could prevent potential attacks. The mental strain was as exhausting as the physical demands. Late-night strategy sessions, constant radio chatter, and the weight of knowing that one missed signal could cost lives. This was my reality. My wife's occasional emails and video calls were my lifeline, a connection to the world beyond our base's concrete walls. When I finally received orders for my return, I imagined reuniting with Elena and Sophia, walking into our home, feeling the comfort of familiar surroundings. I pictured warm embraces, catching up on missed moments, hearing about Sophia's soccer matches and school achievements. What awaited me was something entirely different, a financial nightmare that would shake the very foundation of my family. 3 days after landing at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, I discovered the first signs of trouble. While sorting through mail that had accumulated during my deployment, I found a stack of bank notices and official correspondence that seemed oddly formal. Credit card statements showed multiple large withdrawals. Retirement account transfer. Documents revealed significant funds had been moved to accounts I didn't recognize. Elena had always managed our finances. As a financial analyst at a local investment firm, she prided herself on her fiscal responsibility. We'd been married for 16 years, having met during my first deployment when she was working a civilian contract supporting military logistics. Our relationship had always been built on mutual trust and respect. She understood the challenges of military life, the long separations, the constant uncertainty. Our daughter Sophia was 15, a brilliant student with dreams of attending West Point. She played soccer, maintained a 4.0 GPA, and had inherited her mother's analytical mind and my determination. Throughout my deployments, Elena had consistently sent updates, shared school reports, and maintained our family's stability. Or so I thought. The bank statements told a different story. Over the past 8 months, Elena had systematically withdrawn funds from our joint accounts. Our military savings, the investment portfolio I'd carefully built over years of service, our daughter's college fund, all had been significantly depleted. The first transfer caught my attention. $45,000 moved to an offshore account under a name I didn't recognize. I remembered the countless times Elena had discussed investment strategies during my video calls. She would explain complex financial moves, talk about diversifying our portfolio, always presenting herself as the careful, strategic planner. Now, those conversations felt like carefully constructed lies. The most shocking discovery was a real estate transaction. Our family home, purchased with my VA loan and built on land my grandfather had owned, had a pending sale agreement. The buyer was a development company based in Phoenix, with Elena listed as the primary contact. The sale would net over $600,000, money that would effectively erase our family's generational connection to this property. My military training had taught me to remain calm under pressure. Panic was a luxury soldiers couldn't afford. Instead of confronting Elena immediately, I began meticulously documenting everything. Bank statements were organized chronologically. Transfer documents were photographed. Each piece of evidence was carefully preserved, just like I would have collected intelligence during a mission. That evening, Eleanor prepared dinner as if nothing was wrong. Sophia set the table, chatting about her upcoming soccer tournament. The normalcy was surreal. As we ate, Elena discussed potential home renovations, talked about a potential job promotion, and asked about my readjustment to civilian life. Her casual demeanor was both impressive and terrifying. I listened, asked measured questions, and watched her carefully. Years of decoding enemy communications had honed my ability to detect subtle tells. Something was definitely wrong, and I was going to uncover exactly what had happened during my 8-month deployment. This wasn't just about money. This was about trust, family, and the life we had built together. The first battle was just beginning, and I was determined to understand the full extent of the betrayal. The next morning, I reached out to Marcus Reynolds, a retired military investigator I'd served with during my early years in Special Forces. We'd maintained a close friendship through years of shared experiences and mutual respect. Marcus now ran a private investigation firm in Phoenix, specializing in financial forensics and military-related cases. "I need your help," I told him during our meeting at a quiet cafe near downtown Tucson. I spread out the documents I'd collected, each page a piece of a complex puzzle. Marcus adjusted his reading glasses, his experienced eyes scanning the financial statements with the same intensity. "We once used to analyze enemy movement patterns. These transfers are calculated," Marcus muttered, tracing his finger along the bank statements. "Look at the timing. Each withdrawal is strategically placed to avoid immediate detection." He pointed out a pattern, small withdrawals that gradually increased, always just below the threshold that would trigger automatic bank alerts. The offshore account particularly intrigued him. It was registered through a complex network of shell companies. I'd learned long ago that information was power. During my deployments, gathering intelligence meant survival. Now, I applied those same skills to understanding my wife's financial maneuvers. I requested complete bank records, credit card statements, and began tracking every financial transaction from the past year. My daughter, Sophia, remained unaware of the brewing storm. A junior at Catalina Foothills High School, she was preparing for her soccer championship and college applications. The thought of disrupting her life weighed heavily on me. Military service had taught me about collateral damage. I was determined to minimize any potential impact on her. A week into my investigation, I discovered something unexpected. Elena had been meeting regularly with a real estate developer named Richard Hartley. Phone records showed multiple long conversations, some lasting over an hour. Credit card statements revealed lunch meetings at expensive Tucson restaurants, meetings that didn't align with her typical work schedule. Marcus suggested we dig deeper. "Sometimes the most revealing information isn't in the financial records," he explained. "It's in the connections between people." He contacted a former colleague who specialized in digital forensics. Together, they began tracing the electronic trail of Elena's communications and financial transactions. The picture emerging was far more complex than simple financial mismanagement. Elena had been systematically liquidating our assets, creating a complex web of financial movements designed to obscure her true intentions. Our retirement accounts, our daughter's college fund, even a small inheritance from my deceased parents, all had been carefully redirected. I continued to maintain a facade of normalcy at home. Elena remained attentive, discussing mundane family matters, asking about my readjustment to civilian life. Her professional demeanor never wavered. Each evening, we would have dinner together, with Sophia sharing stories about school and soccer. I listened, watched, and waited. Military intelligence had taught me patience. Rushing into confrontation without complete information was a tactical mistake. I needed to understand the full scope of what was happening before taking any action. Each piece of evidence was carefully documented, every conversation noted, every financial movement tracked. Marcus uncovered something particularly interesting. Elena had been corresponding with a real estate development company based in Phoenix. The communications suggested a long-term plan to sell our family property, a piece of land that had been in my family for 3 generations. The proposed development would transform our quiet suburban neighborhood into a massive commercial complex. This wasn't a sudden decision, Marcus concluded after weeks of investigation. This looks like a plan that's been in motion for at least 2 years. The complexity of her strategy was almost admirable, if it wasn't so devastating. Multiple shell companies, carefully timed withdrawals, strategic real estate connections. Elena had essentially been building an exit strategy while I was deployed. I began gathering legal counsel, reaching out to an attorney specializing in military family law. Every document was copied, every digital trail preserved. My military training had prepared me for complex, high-stakes situations. This was just another mission, one where the objective was protecting my family's future and uncovering the truth. The most challenging part was maintaining my composure. Military training teaches emotional control, the ability to process information without being consumed by immediate emotional responses. Each discovery was another piece of intelligence, another data point in a growing investigation. As the evidence accumulated, one question burned in my mind. How long had this been planned? And more importantly, what was I going to do about it? The law office of Elizabeth Garrett was located in a modern glass building overlooking the Tucson Mountains. Jennifer Richards, a forensic financial specialist recommended by Marcus, had compiled an exhaustive report detailing Elena's financial manipulations. Each page was a testament to a meticulously planned betrayal that extended far beyond simple financial mismanagement. This goes beyond standard divorce proceedings, Elizabeth explained, her fingers sliding across the carefully organized documents. The financial trail revealed a sophisticated plan to liquidate our assets, redirect funds, and essentially erase our family's financial history. Multiple offshore accounts, strategically timed withdrawals, and a complex network of real estate transactions painted a picture of calculated deception. The most damning evidence was a series of communications between Elena and Richard Hartley, the real estate developer. Emails, text messages, and financial records suggested a relationship that extended beyond professional courtesy. They had been planning the development of our family property for months, potentially years. Our home, a place with generational significance, was nothing more than a potential profit margin to them. I remembered the countless nights I'd spent away from home, believing I was protecting my family's future. Each deployment was a sacrifice, a commitment to something larger than myself. Now I discovered that while I was risking my life, Elena had been systematically dismantling everything we'd built together. The legal strategy would be multifaceted. Elizabeth recommended immediate action to freeze our joint assets, preventing any further unauthorized transfers. A forensic audit would trace every single financial movement, creating a comprehensive picture of the financial betrayal. My military pension, our investments, even Sophia's college fund, all had been compromised. Sophia remained my primary concern. At 15, she was perceptive enough to sense something was wrong, but I was determined to shield her from the full extent of the betrayal. Her upcoming soccer championship and college applications were paramount. I would not let Elena's actions disrupt her future. Marcus continued his investigation, uncovering additional layers of complexity. Elena had been meeting with multiple real estate developers, not just Hartley, Phone records and digital communications suggested a network of potential buyers interested in our property. The development plan was more extensive than we initially believed, a multi-million-dollar project that would transform our entire neighborhood. The timing was deliberate. My extended deployment had provided the perfect cover for her actions. Military families were particularly vulnerable to such manipulations. The constant separations, the trust required to maintain a relationship across thousands of miles, Elena had exploited every possible weakness. I chose the moment of confrontation carefully. Military intelligence had taught me the importance of timing and strategic approach. One evening, after Sophia had gone to her soccer practice, I sat Elena down in our living room, the same room where we'd shared countless memories, where we'd built our life together. "We need to talk," I said, my voice calm and measured. Years of military training had taught me emotional control. Elena's initial response was carefully crafted, a mixture of concern and mild confusion. She asked about my health, about my readjustment to civilian life, maintaining her facade of concerned wife. I presented the evidence methodically. Statements, communication records, real estate development plans. Each document was a weapon, carefully chosen to expose the full extent of her betrayal. Elena's composure began to crack. The carefully constructed narrative of concerned wife and financial planner started to unravel. "I was trying to secure our future," she attempted to explain, but the evidence spoke louder than her words. The offshore accounts, the strategic property, sales, the communications with developers. This was no simple misunderstanding. This was a calculated plan, years in the making. The most shocking revelation came from a series of deleted emails recovered by Marcus's digital forensics team. Elena had been planning this exit strategy for at least 2 years. The development of our property was just the beginning. She had connections, a network of real estate professionals ready to transform our family land into a massive commercial complex. Our daughter Sophia's future had been nothing more than a potential bargaining chip in Eleanor's grand plan. College. Fund redirected, family property prepared for sale, our entire family history reduced to a potential profit margin. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound I'd experienced in my military service. Elizabeth Garrett prepared the legal documents with precision, a comprehensive divorce filing that would expose Elena's financial manipulations. Asset freezing orders, forensic audit requests, preservation of evidence. Each document was a strategic move designed to protect our family's future. The military had taught me that the most effective battles are won through intelligence, preparation, and strategic thinking. This was no different. I was fighting for more than just financial justice. I was fighting to preserve my daughter's future, to protect the legacy of our family. As the sun set over the Tucson mountains, casting long shadows across our living room, I realized this battle was just beginning. And like every mission I'd undertaken in my military career, I was prepared to see it through to the end. The Pima County Courthouse stood as a testament to institutional gravity, its sandstone walls reflecting the harsh Arizona sunlight. Our first major hearing would determine the preliminary injunctions against Elena's financial maneuvers. Elizabeth Garrett had meticulously prepared our case, transforming years of military intelligence gathering into a legal strategy that would expose every calculated move. Sophia knew something significant was happening, but I had carefully shielded her from the most devastating details. She accompanied me to the courthouse, her soccer team jacket draped over her arm, a symbol of the normalcy I was fighting to preserve. The worry lines on her young face betrayed her understanding that our family was experiencing something profound and potentially destructive. The courtroom became a battlefield of a different kind. Where I once coordinated complex military operations, I now navigated the intricate terrain of legal confrontation. Elena arrived with her legal team, a stark contrast to the woman I had known for 16 years. Her professional attire and composed demeanor suggested years of preparation for this moment. Forensic financial experts testified to the systematic withdrawal of funds. Bank records showed a pattern of calculated transfers, each movement designed to avoid immediate detection. The offshore accounts were particularly damaging, a network of financial movements that suggested premeditation beyond simple financial mismanagement. Richard Hartley, the real estate developer, was called to testify. Under oath, he revealed extensive communications with Elena about the potential development of our family property. His testimony painted a picture of a long-term plan that extended far beyond a simple real estate transaction. Multiple development proposals, detailed architectural plans, and financial projections demonstrated the depth of their collaboration. Marcus Reynolds sat beside me, his presence a reminder of the brotherhood that extended beyond military service. He had been instrumental in uncovering the layers of Elena's betrayal, applying the same investigative skills we once used to track enemy movements. Each piece of evidence was a carefully placed tactical move. The most devastating testimony came from a forensic accountant who detailed the systematic liquidation of our assets. Sophia's college fund, carefully built over years of military service and personal sacrifice, had been nearly depleted. Retirement accounts were redirected, investment portfolios dismantled. Our entire financial history had been methodically dismantled during my deployment. Elena's defense was calculated. She claimed financial necessity, suggested that the transfers were part of a broader investment strategy, but the evidence spoke louder than her carefully crafted narrative. Phone records, email communications, real estate development plans. Each document exposed the calculated nature of her betrayal. Judge Sandra Martinez listened intently, her experienced eyes moving between the presented evidence and the key players. A veteran of complex family law cases, she understood the nuanced dynamics of military family disputes. Her questions were precise, cutting through the legal maneuvering to the core of the issue. The most challenging moment came when Sophia was asked to provide a statement. At 15, she understood more than we realized. Her testimony was measured but devastating, describing the gradual changes in our family dynamic, the subtle manipulations she had observed. Her words carried the weight of innocence betrayed. Our family property became a central point of contention. The land had been in my family for 3 generations, a testament to our family's history and resilience. Elena and the real estate developers had seen it as nothing more than a potential profit margin, a piece of real estate to be developed and sold. The hearing lasted 2 full days. Each moment was a test of emotional control, a challenge to maintain the strategic thinking that had defined my military career. Elena's legal team attempted to paint me as an absent husband, suggesting that my extended deployments had created the circumstances for these financial decisions. But the evidence told a different story. Detailed records showed that Elena had been planning this exit strategy for years. The offshore accounts, the real estate development plans, the systematic liquidation of our assets. This was no sudden decision. It was a carefully constructed plan that had been years in the making. Marcus had uncovered additional layers of complexity. Elena had been building a network of connections, cultivating relationships with real estate developers, financial advisors, and other professionals who could facilitate her plan. Each connection was a carefully placed piece in a complex puzzle. As the hearing concluded, Judge Martinez made preliminary rulings that were significant. All joint assets were frozen pending a full forensic investigation. Elena was barred from making any additional financial transactions related to our family property. The preliminary injunctions were comprehensive and far-reaching. Sophia sat beside me, her hand occasionally touching mine, a silent show of support that meant more than any legal victory. She understood the complexity of the situation, her maturity, a testament to the resilience we had built as a family. The battle was far from over, but for the first time since discovering Elena's betrayal, I felt a sense of hope. We had exposed the truth. We had begun to reclaim our future. And like every mission I had undertaken in my military career, I was prepared to see this through to the end. The weeks following the initial court hearing transformed our lives completely. What had begun as a personal betrayal had evolved into a complex legal and emotional journey that would redefine our entire family's future. Sophia's resilience became our greatest strength, her ability to navigate the emotional turbulence with a maturity that belied her 15 years. Elizabeth Garrett's team continued to unravel the intricate financial web Elena had constructed. Each document revealed another layer of calculation, another piece of a plan that had been years in the making. The forensic investigation uncovered connections that went far beyond our initial understanding. Elena had not just been planning to sell our property, she had been cultivating an entire network of real estate developers, financial advisors, and potential investors. Marcus Reynolds discovered something particularly shocking. Elena had been developing a separate life plan for years, carefully creating a financial infrastructure that would allow her to completely separate from our family. Multiple shell companies, hidden investment accounts, and carefully orchestrated financial movements painted a picture of systematic preparation. The most devastating revelation came from a series of encrypted communications recovered from Elena's deleted email accounts. She had been in contact with multiple real estate development firms, discussing not just our property, but a broader development strategy that extended across several neighborhoods in Tucson. Our family home was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Sophia's college fund, meticulously built over years of military service and personal sacrifice, had been nearly completely liquidated. The money had been strategically moved through a series of investment accounts, ultimately finding its way into offshore holdings that were difficult to trace. Each transfer was calculated, designed to avoid immediate detection. The psychological toll was significant. Military training had prepared me for external challenges, for facing unknown threats in hostile environments. But this battle was different, a war fought on emotional and financial fronts, with our family's entire future at stake. Each revelation was like another strategic hit, carefully planned and executed. Judge Sandra Martinez's preliminary rulings had provided us with some protection. All joint assets were frozen, preventing any further unauthorized transfers. Elena was barred from making additional financial transactions related to our family property, but this was just the beginning of a much longer legal battle. Our family dynamic had been irreparably changed. Sophia struggled to understand the depth of her mother's betrayal. She had always been close to Eleanor, viewing her as a strong, independent professional. Now she was confronting a reality that challenged everything she thought she knew about her family. Marcus uncovered a network of potential buyers for our family property. Richard Hartley, the real estate developer, was just one player in a much larger scheme. Multiple development companies had been preparing proposals, seeing our family land as nothing more than a potential profit margin. Years of family history, of generational connection to this land, were being reduced to a financial transaction. The forensic financial investigation revealed a pattern of behavior that extended far beyond simple financial mismanagement. Elena had been systematically preparing an exit strategy for years. Phone records, email communications, financial transfers, each piece of evidence told a story of calculated betrayal. Our attorney discovered something particularly damaging. Elena had been consulting with divorce attorneys even before my last deployment, exploring potential strategies for asset division. Military families were particularly vulnerable to such manipulations, the constant separations creating opportunities for calculated betrayal. Sophia became our unexpected source of strength. At 15, she demonstrated a maturity that was remarkable. She understood the complexity of the situation, refusing to be defined by her mother's actions. Her soccer team became her sanctuary, her athletic discipline a reflection of the resilience we were building as a family. The legal proceedings became a complex dance of financial forensics and emotional revelation. Each court appearance was a strategic battle, with Elizabeth Garrett methodically exposing the extent of Elena's financial manipulations. The preliminary hearings were just the beginning of a much longer process of uncovering the truth. Our family property became a symbol of everything we were fighting to preserve. 15 acres of Arizona landscape that had been in my family for 3 generations, a testament to our family's history and resilience. Elena and the development network had seen it as nothing more than a potential profit margin. Marcus continued to gather intelligence, applying the same investigative skills we had once used in military operations. Each piece of evidence was carefully documented, each financial movement traced. The investigation had become more than a legal strategy. It was a mission to expose the truth. The most challenging aspect was maintaining our family's emotional integrity. Sophia needed stability, a sense that our family could survive this betrayal. I focused on creating a sense of normalcy, ensuring that her life, her education, her soccer career, her future, remained our primary priority. As the legal proceedings continued, we began to rebuild. The property remained in our family's name, protected by court injunctions. Elena's development plans had been effectively halted. Each day was a step towards reclaiming our future, towards proving that our family's resilience was stronger than any calculated betrayal. The final court hearing would be a culmination of months of investigation, of strategic legal maneuvering. But regardless of the outcome, we had already won something far more important. We had exposed the truth, we had preserved our family's integrity, and we had demonstrated that true strength is not about financial manipulation, but about resilience, love, and unwavering commitment. The battle was far from over, but for the first time in months, we could see a path forward. A future defined not by betrayal, but by our own terms. The final court hearing would be the culmination of months of investigation, strategic legal maneuvering, and emotional endurance. Our family had been transformed by the journey, each challenge, revealing depths of strength we never knew we possessed. Sophia sat beside me, her presence a testament to the resilience we had cultivated through the most challenging period of our lives. Elizabeth Garrett had spent months meticulously preparing our case. Every financial record, every communication, every strategic move Elena had made was laid bare before the court. The forensic investigation had uncovered a network of financial manipulations that extended far beyond our initial understanding. What had begun as a personal betrayal had evolved into a comprehensive exposé of calculated deception. Judge Sandra Martinez's courtroom became the final battleground. The walls seemed to absorb the weight of years of family history, of betrayal, of hope. Elena arrived with her legal team, a stark contrast to the woman I had known for 16 years. Her professional demeanor couldn't mask the desperation that now flickered behind her eyes. The testimony began with a comprehensive presentation of financial evidence. Forensic accountants detailed the systematic liquidation of our assets. Sophia's college fund, carefully built over years of military service and personal sacrifice, had been nearly completely dismantled. Retirement accounts were traced through a complex network of transfers, offshore accounts, and shell companies. Marcus Reynolds provided crucial testimony, his years of investigative experience laying bare the calculated nature of Elena's actions. Phone records, email communications, financial transfers. Each piece of evidence told a story of premeditation. The real estate development plans were exposed in excruciating detail, revealing a network of professionals who had viewed our family property as nothing more than a potential profit margin. Richard Hartley, the primary real estate developer, was called to testify. Under oath, he revealed the extent of his communications with Elena, the detailed plans for our family property. His testimony painted a picture of a long-term strategy that had been years in the making. Multiple development proposals, architectural plans and financial projections were presented as evidence of the calculated betrayal. The most powerful moment came when Sophia was asked to provide a statement. At 15, she demonstrated a maturity that was both heartbreaking and inspiring. She spoke about the gradual changes in our family dynamic, the subtle manipulations she had observed. Her words carried the weight of innocence betrayed, yet also of incredible personal strength. Elena's defense crumbled under the weight of evidence. Her attempts to portray the financial movements as investment strategies fell apart. The court saw through the carefully constructed narrative of a concerned wife and financial planner. Each piece of evidence exposed the calculated nature of her betrayal. The forensic investigation had uncovered something even more damaging. Elena had been preparing her exit strategy for years, consulting with divorce attorneys even before my last military deployment. Phone records showed a network of communications with financial advisors, real estate developers, and potential investors. Our family had been nothing more than a strategic asset to be managed and ultimately discarded. Judge Martinez listened intently, her experienced eyes moving between the presented evidence and the key players. A veteran of complex family law cases, she understood the nuanced dynamics of military family disputes. Her questions cut through the legal maneuvering to the core of the issue. The final ruling was comprehensive and decisive. All of Elena's financial manipulations were exposed and invalidated. Our family property was restored to its original status, protected from any development plans. The court ordered a complete financial reconstruction, with Elena required to repay the funds she had systematically withdrawn. Sophia's college fund was fully restored, with additional compensation for the emotional distress caused by the financial manipulation. The court's ruling was more than a legal victory. It was a validation of our family's resilience, of our ability to withstand and overcome betrayal. As the judgment was read, I watched Sophia. Her composure was remarkable, a reflection of the strength we had built together. Military service had taught me about resilience, about facing impossible challenges. But nothing had prepared me for the strength I would find in my daughter, in our ability to support each other through this crisis. The aftermath was a period of healing and reconstruction. We began to rebuild our lives, not as victims of betrayal, but as survivors. The family property, 15 acres of Arizona landscape that had been in our family for generations, became a symbol of our resilience. We would not be defined by Elena's actions, but by our ability to overcome them. Marcus Reynolds remained a close friend and ally throughout the process. His investigative skills had been crucial in exposing the truth, in protecting our family's future. The brotherhood we had formed during military service extended far beyond the battlefield, becoming a source of support and strength. Elizabeth Garrett had become more than our attorney. She was a strategic ally who had fought alongside us, who understood the complexity of our situation. Her dedication to exposing the truth had been instrumental in our victory. The financial and legal battle had transformed us. Sophia's perspective on trust, on family, on personal integrity, had been profoundly shaped by our experience. She approached life with a newfound wisdom, an understanding of the importance of transparency and genuine commitment. Our story became more than a tale of betrayal. It became a testament to the resilience of military families, to the strength that can be found in facing challenges together. We had been tested in ways we could never have imagined, and we had emerged stronger, more united. As we looked to the future, we were not defined by the betrayal we had experienced. We were defined by our ability to overcome, to rebuild, to find hope in the most challenging of circumstances. The land that had been our family's legacy would remain just that, a legacy of strength, of resilience, of unwavering commitment. The battle was over, but our true journey was just beginning. 2 years had passed since the court's final judgment. Our family had transformed in ways I could never have anticipated. The land that had been the center of so much conflict became our sanctuary, a testament to resilience and healing. Sophia was now preparing for college, her determination shaped by the challenges we had overcome together. I remembered the day Marcus Reynolds first helped me uncover Elena's betrayal. What had begun as a personal investigation had become a journey of transformation. Our family had been tested in ways that military service had never prepared me for. A battle fought not with weapons, but with truth, perseverance, and unwavering love. The property remained in our family name, protected by the court's ruling and our renewed commitment to preserving our legacy. The 15 acres of Arizona landscape became more than just land. It was a living memory of our family's strength. We had transformed parts of the property, creating new spaces that reflected our journey of healing. Sophia's soccer scholarship to Arizona State University was more than an academic achievement. It was a symbol of our family's resilience. She had taken the pain of our past and channeled it into determination, becoming a leader both on and off the field. Her ability to transform adversity into opportunity was a constant source of pride. Marcus still visited regularly. What had begun as a professional investigation had evolved into a deep friendship. He understood the complexities of military families, the unique challenges we faced. His support had been instrumental in our healing process, a constant reminder that family extends beyond blood. Elizabeth Garrett had become more than our attorney. She was a family friend, someone who had seen us at our most vulnerable and helped us rebuild. Her dedication to exposing the truth had been more than a legal strategy. It was a commitment to justice, to protecting families who had been betrayed. The forensic investigation had long-term implications beyond our personal story. Elena's actions had triggered a broader investigation into financial manipulations targeting military families. Multiple cases of similar betrayals came to light, bringing attention to the vulnerabilities faced by service members during long deployments. I had transitioned from active military service to working with veteran support organizations. My experience had given me a unique perspective on the challenges military families face, not just on the battlefield, but in their personal lives. Each speaking engagement, each support group meeting became an opportunity to help other veterans navigate similar challenges. Our property became a healing space for other veterans. We converted part of the land into a retreat center, providing support and resources for military families dealing with personal challenges. What had been a source of pain had become a source of hope, a place of healing and transformation. Sophia's perspective on trust and family had been profoundly shaped by our experience. She approached relationships with a wisdom that belied her young age. Her ability to understand complexity, to find strength in vulnerability, was a testament to our family's journey. The financial recovery was slow but steady. We had rebuilt our savings, redirected our resources, and created a new financial strategy based on transparency and mutual support. Each financial decision became a collective family discussion, a way of healing the wounds of past betrayal. Marcus had continued to support us beyond the initial investigation. He helped us develop strategies for financial protection, for understanding the subtle signs of potential manipulation. Our experience had become a learning opportunity, a way to help other military families protect themselves. The legal battle had exposed broader systemic issues facing military families. Elena's actions were not an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern of vulnerability. Service members deployed overseas often found themselves at risk of financial and personal betrayal, their trust exploited by those closest to them. Our story became a catalyst for change. Elizabeth Garrett used our case to push for legislative protections for military families. New laws were proposed to provide additional safeguards for service members during long deployments to protect their financial and personal interests. Coup. Property that had been the center of so much conflict became a symbol of healing. We had transformed the land, creating spaces of hope and renewal. A small portion was dedicated to a veterans support center, providing resources and assistance to families facing similar challenges. Sophia's college applications told a different story than most. Her personal statement was a powerful narrative of resilience, of finding strength in the most challenging circumstances. Universities saw more than just an academic achievement. They saw a young woman who had transformed pain into purpose. My perspective on military service had evolved. The battles I had fought overseas seemed different now, compared to the personal battle we had survived. True strength was not about physical combat, but about emotional resilience, about the ability to face betrayal and find hope. Marcus often reminded me that our story was more than a tale of betrayal. It was a narrative of transformation, of the incredible strength found in family, in unwavering commitment. Each challenge had made us stronger, had brought us closer together. As we looked to the future, we were not defined by what had happened to us. We were defined by how we had responded, by our ability to find hope in the most challenging circumstances. The land that had been our family's legacy would continue to be just that, a living testament to resilience, to love, to the unbreakable bonds of family. Our journey was far from over, but we were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. 5 years had passed since the day I first discovered Elena's betrayal. Our family had become a beacon of hope for military families facing similar challenges. Our story, a testament to resilience, transformation, and the power of unwavering commitment. The landscape of our lives had changed dramatically, each challenge becoming a stepping stone to something greater. Sophia had graduated from Arizona State University with honors, her passion for supporting military families burning brighter than ever. She had turned our personal tragedy into a mission, developing a non-profit organization dedicated to providing financial literacy and support for military families during deployments. Her organization, Sentinel Support, had already helped hundreds of service members protect their families from potential financial exploitation. The 15 acres of Arizona landscape that had once been the center of our greatest pain had become a symbol of healing and hope. Our family retreat center had expanded, providing resources, counseling, and support for veterans and their families. What had begun as a personal battle had transformed into a broader mission of support and empowerment. Marcus Reynolds had retired from private investigation but continued to work closely with our family's support initiatives. His expertise became a crucial resource for veterans navigating complex personal and financial challenges. The network we had built extended far beyond our initial legal battle, creating a community of support and resilience. Elizabeth Garrett had become a leading advocate for legislative changes protecting military families. The case that had begun with our family had sparked a national conversation about the vulnerabilities faced by service members during long deployments. Multiple states had implemented new laws providing additional protections for military families. Financial interests. Our story had become more than a personal narrative. It was a catalyst for systemic change, highlighting the unique challenges faced by military families. Speaking engagements, documentary features, and legislative discussions had transformed our personal pain into a broader movement of awareness and support. Sophia's work with Sentinel Support had uncovered numerous cases similar to our own. Military families were particularly vulnerable to financial manipulation, with deployed service members often unaware of the intricate financial moves happening in their absence. Her organization provided education, legal resources, and direct support. To families facing potential betrayal, the financial recovery had been a journey of its own. We had rebuilt our savings, created new investment strategies, and developed a comprehensive approach to financial transparency. Each financial decision became a collective family discussion, a way of healing and protecting our future. Our property had become a multi-purpose support center. Beyond the retreat facilities, we had developed training programs for military families, workshops on financial literacy, and counseling services for those facing personal challenges. The land that had once been a source of conflict was now a source of hope and renewal. Marcus continued to train investigators specializing in supporting military families. The skills he had developed during our case had become a crucial resource for identifying and preventing financial exploitation. His workshops and training programs had become a critical resource for law enforcement and support organizations. Sophia's academic research had begun to shed light on the systemic issues facing military families. Her doctoral research focused on the economic vulnerabilities of military households during extended deployments. Each study, each presentation became another tool in the fight to protect service members and their families. The legal precedent set by our case had far-reaching implications. Courts began to take a more comprehensive approach to financial exploitation of military families. The complex network of financial manipulations that Elena had constructed became a case study in how such betrayals could be identified and prevented. Our family's healing had become a journey of collective growth. Weekly family meetings, open communication, and a commitment to transparency had become our strongest defense. We had transformed our pain into a source of strength, a way of protecting and supporting each other. The support network we had built extended beyond our immediate family. Marcus, Elizabeth, and numerous other professionals had become part of our extended support system. Each of them had played a crucial role in our healing, in our ability to transform a personal tragedy into a broader mission of support. Sophia's organization had developed cutting-edge technologies to help military families protect their financial interests. Digital tools, educational resources, and direct support services had become crucial resources for service members during deployments. What had begun as our personal story had evolved into a comprehensive support system. The speaking engagements and advocacy work had taken us across the country. Each presentation was more than just sharing our story. It was an opportunity to provide hope, to show other families that betrayal did not have to define their future. Our narrative became a beacon of resilience, of the incredible strength found in family and commitment. Marcus often reflected on the investigation that had started it all. What had begun as a professional courtesy had become a lifelong mission of support. His expertise had become a crucial resource for military families. Facing complex personal and financial challenges, Elizabeth Garrett had become a leading voice in legislative changes protecting military families. The case that had begun with our family had sparked a national conversation about the vulnerabilities faced by service members. Her work had led to significant legal reforms, providing additional protections for military households. The property that had once been the center of our greatest challenge had become a symbol of hope and renewal. The 15 acres of Arizona landscape now housed multiple support facilities, training centers, and resources for military families. Each building, each program was a testament to our family's resilience. As we looked to the future, we were not defined by what had happened to us. We were defined by how we had responded, by our ability to find hope in the most challenging circumstances. Our story had become more than a personal narrative. It was a movement of support, of healing, of transformation. The journey was far from over, but we were ready, stronger together, committed to making a difference. 10 years had passed since the day that changed our lives forever. The landscape of our family's journey had transformed from a story of personal betrayal to a national movement of support and empowerment for military families. What had begun as our darkest moment had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the resilience of those who serve and the families who support them. The National Conference Center buzzed with anticipation. Military leaders, legal experts, family support specialists, and veterans from across the country had gathered to hear our story. Sophia stood at the podium, her presence commanding yet compassionate. She was no longer just my daughter. She had become a leading voice for military family support. Her organization, Sentinel Support, now a comprehensive network of resources and protection. I watched from the back of the auditorium, reflecting on the journey that had brought us here. The 15 acres of Arizona land that had once been the source of our greatest pain was now a national training center for military family support. What Elena had intended as a calculated betrayal had become our greatest source of purpose. Marcus Reynolds sat beside me, a constant reminder of the friendship forged through our most challenging times. He had transitioned from a private investigator to a key advisor for military family protection programs. His expertise had become invaluable in developing strategies to protect service members from financial exploitation. Elizabeth Garrett had become a prominent legislative advocate. The legal precedents set by our case had sparked nationwide reforms protecting military families during deployments. Multiple states had implemented comprehensive laws addressing financial vulnerabilities of service members. Sophia's presentation was a masterpiece of storytelling and advocacy. She detailed the systemic challenges faced by military families, using our personal story as a powerful narrative framework. Each statistic, each personal account was delivered with a combination of professional precision and deeply personal insight. 10 years ago, she began, our family faced a betrayal that could have destroyed us. Instead, we chose to transform our pain into purpose. The audience leaned forward, captivated by her words. She spoke about the financial manipulations, the legal battles, but more importantly, about the resilience that carried us through. The Sentinel Support Network had grown far beyond our initial expectations. What had begun as a small support initiative now operated in all 50 states, providing comprehensive resources for military families. Digital platforms, legal support, financial literacy programs, each resource was a direct response to the challenges we had faced. Our property had become a national model for veteran support. The training center hosted workshops, provided counseling, and developed innovative support programs. Military families from across the country came to learn, to heal, to find hope. The 15 acres that Elena had once seen as a simple real estate opportunity had become a sanctuary of healing and empowerment. Marcus took the stage after Sophia, sharing insights from his investigative work. He detailed the complex methods of financial exploitation, providing practical strategies for military families to protect themselves. His presentation was a combination of technical expertise and deeply personal commitment. Elizabeth Garrett presented the legal reforms that had emerged from our case. Multiple legislative initiatives had been passed, providing additional protections for military families during deployments. Financial institutions had been required to implement new safeguards, creating multiple layers of protection for service members. The research emerging from Sophia's doctoral work had become a cornerstone of understanding military family dynamics. Her studies exposed the systemic vulnerabilities that made military families susceptible to financial exploitation. Each presentation, each published paper, became another tool in the fight for protection and support. During a break, veterans approached our family, sharing their own stories of betrayal and resilience. Some spoke of financial challenges, others of personal struggles, but each conversation was a testament to the power of community, of finding strength in shared experiences. The afternoon panel discussion brought together military leaders, legal experts, and family support specialists. Our story was no longer just a personal narrative. It had become a catalyst for systemic change. Each speaker referenced our journey as a turning point in understanding the challenges faced by military families. Sophia's organization had developed cutting-edge technologies to support military families. Digital platforms provided real-time financial monitoring, educational resources, and direct support services. What had begun as our personal protection strategy had evolved into a comprehensive support system. Marcus continued to train investigators and support specialists, sharing the investigative techniques that had first uncovered Elena's betrayal. His workshops became crucial resources for identifying and preventing financial exploitation. Each training session was another layer of protection for military families. Elizabeth Garrett's legislative work had expanded beyond our initial case. She had become a leading voice in family protection laws, advocating for comprehensive support systems for military families. The legal precedent set by our case had created a framework for protecting service members during deployments. As the conference concluded, I reflected on our journey. The pain of betrayal had been transformed into a mission of support and empowerment. Our family had not just survived. We had created a movement that would protect and support military families for generations to come. Sophia joined me at the back of the auditorium, squeezing my hand. "We did it, Dad," she said, her eyes reflecting both the challenges we had overcome and the hope we had created. The room around us was filled with military families, support specialists, and advocates, all connected by a shared commitment to protection and resilience. The land that had once been a source of conflict was now a symbol of hope. Our family's journey had become more than a personal story. It was a movement of healing, of transformation, of unwavering commitment to those who serve. As we looked to the future, we were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, we had turned our greatest pain into our most powerful purpose. 15 years had passed since the day that changed everything. Our family's journey had become more than a personal story of betrayal and redemption. It had become a national movement of support, healing, and transformation. The landscape of our lives had evolved in ways we could never have imagined on that fateful day when I first discovered Elena's betrayal. The Sentinel Support Foundation had grown into a comprehensive national organization with centers in every state, supporting thousands of military families each year. Sophia now led the organization as its CEO, her passion for supporting military families burning brighter than ever. What had begun as our personal struggle had become a powerful force for change. Our Arizona property had transformed completely. What was once 15 acres of potential real estate development was now a national training and support center for military families. The buildings we had constructed told a story of resilience, of turning pain into purpose. Each facility, each program was a testament to our family's journey. Marcus Reynolds, now in his 70s, remained a crucial advisor to the foundation. His investigative expertise had become a cornerstone of our family support programs. Though semi-retired, he continued to train investigators and develop strategies for protecting military families from financial exploitation. His commitment remained as strong as ever. Elizabeth Garrett had become a prominent national legal advocate for military family protection. The legislative changes sparked by our case had created a comprehensive framework of protections for service members. Multiple states had implemented laws that provided financial safeguards, legal protections, and support systems for military families during deployments. The annual Sentinel Support Conference had become a pivotal event in the military support community. Leaders from across the country, military officials, legal experts, family support specialists gathered to share strategies, insights, and personal stories of resilience. Our family's journey remained a powerful narrative of transformation. Sophia's doctoral research had expanded into a comprehensive field of study. Universities across the country now offered programs focused on military family dynamics, financial protection, and support strategies. What had begun as our personal challenge had become an entire academic discipline. I had transitioned from my military service to becoming a full-time advisor and speaker. My experiences spoke to the broader challenges faced by military families. Each speaking engagement, each workshop became an opportunity to provide hope, to show that betrayal did not have to define one's future. The technological platforms developed by Sentinel Support had become industry-standard tools for protecting military families. Digital monitoring systems, educational resources, direct support services, each innovation was a direct response to the vulnerabilities we had experienced. What had begun as our personal protection strategy had evolved into a comprehensive support system. Marcus continued to develop training programs for investigators and support specialists. His workshops became crucial resources for identifying and preventing financial exploitation. Each training session added another layer of protection for military families, transforming our personal pain into a systematic approach to support. Elizabeth Garrett's legislative work had expanded into a comprehensive national advocacy program. She had been instrumental in developing federal-level protections for military families. The legal precedent set by our case had created a framework that protected service members during deployments, addressing financial, legal, and personal vulnerabilities. Our property had become more than a support center. It was a living museum of military family resilience. Interactive exhibits told stories of families who had overcome challenges, who had transformed pain into purpose. Schools brought students to learn about military family dynamics, about the importance of support and protection. Sophia's leadership had taken the foundation to unprecedented levels. International partnerships had been formed, creating a global network of support for military families. The organization now worked with military families in multiple countries, sharing strategies, providing resources, creating a worldwide community of support. The research emerging from our foundation had begun to reshape understanding of military family dynamics. Academic studies, policy recommendations, technological innovations, each development was built on the foundation of our personal experience. What had begun as our individual story had become a comprehensive approach to supporting military families. Marcus often reflected on the investigation that had started it all. What had begun as a professional courtesy had become a lifelong mission of support. His expertise had become a crucial resource for understanding and preventing financial exploitation of military families. Elizabeth Garrett had become a leading voice in national policy discussions. The case that had begun with our family had sparked a nationwide conversation about the vulnerabilities faced by service members. Her work had led to comprehensive legal reforms, providing multi-layered protections for military households. The 15 acres of Arizona landscape now represented more than our family's history. It was a symbol of hope, of transformation, of the incredible resilience of military families. Each building, each program was a testament to the power of turning personal pain into a broader mission of support. Sophia's children, our grandchildren, were being raised with a deep understanding of service, of resilience, of the importance of family support. They grew up hearing our story, understanding the journey that had transformed our family's challenge into a national movement of support. As I look back on our journey, I was struck by the incredible transformation. What Elena had intended as a calculated betrayal had become our greatest source of purpose. Our family had not just survived, we had created a movement that would protect and support military families for generations to come. The annual Sentinel Support Gala had become a powerful gathering of military families, support specialists, and advocates. Each year, we honored families who had overcome challenges, who had transformed their pain into purpose. Our story remained a powerful narrative of hope and resilience. Marcus, Elizabeth, and our entire support network had become more than professional colleagues. They had become family. The bonds forged through our challenging journey had created a community of support that extended far beyond our initial legal battle. As we looked to the future, we were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Our family's journey had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of resilience, of unwavering commitment, of turning personal pain into a broader mission of support and transformation. The story was far from over, but we were prepared, united, committed to making a difference. 20 years had passed since the day that changed everything. Our family's journey had become a living testament to the power of resilience, of transformation, of turning personal pain into a movement of hope and support. The world had changed, but the core of our story remained as powerful as ever. The Sentinel Support Foundation had evolved into a global organization with operations in multiple countries supporting military families across continents. What had begun as our personal struggle had become a comprehensive international network of support, education, and protection. Sophia now led the organization as its global director, her vision extending far beyond our initial experiences. Our Arizona property had become more than a support center. It was now a global research and training institute. Scholars, military leaders, family support specialists from around the world came to learn, to share, to develop new strategies for supporting military families. The 15 acres that Elena had once seen as a simple real estate opportunity had become a beacon of hope and transformation. Marcus Reynolds, though no longer actively involved in day-to-day operations, remained a revered advisor. His investigative expertise had become legendary in military family support circles. The training programs he had developed continued to shape how organizations approached family protection and support. Elizabeth Garrett had become a global legal advocate, working with international organizations to develop comprehensive protections for military families. The legal frameworks we had helped create had become models for countries around the world, addressing the unique vulnerabilities faced by military families during deployments. The annual Sentinel Support Global Conference had become a pivotal event in international military family support. Leaders from military organizations, governments, support networks, and academic institutions gathered to share insights, strategies, and stories of resilience. Our family's journey remained a powerful narrative of transformation. Sophia's academic work had expanded into a comprehensive interdisciplinary field of study. Universities around the world now offered programs focused on military family dynamics, exploring the complex challenges faced by families during military service. What had begun as our personal challenge had become a global area of research and understanding. I had transitioned from active speaking and advisory roles to become a strategic mentor for the Foundation. My experiences continued to provide insights into the broader challenges faced by military families. Each interaction became an opportunity to share wisdom, to provide hope, to demonstrate the power of resilience. The technological platforms developed by Sentinel Support had become global standards for protecting military families. Advanced digital monitoring systems, comprehensive educational resources, and direct support services had been adapted for use in multiple countries. What had begun as our personal protection strategy had evolved into a global support ecosystem. Marcus's training methodologies had been adopted by military and support organizations worldwide. The investigative techniques and support strategies he had developed continued to provide crucial protection for military families. Each training program added another layer of global protection, transforming our personal pain into a systematic approach to support. Elizabeth Garrett's legal work had expanded into international policy development. She worked with global organizations to create comprehensive frameworks for protecting military families. The legal precedents set by our case had become a model for addressing the complex challenges faced by military families during deployments. Our property had become more than a support center. It was now a global research and training institute. Interactive exhibits, research facilities, and training centers told stories of resilience from military families around the world. Students, researchers, and support specialists came from across the globe to learn, to understand, to develop new strategies. Sophia's leadership had taken the Foundation to unprecedented global heights. International partnerships had created a comprehensive network of support that transcended national boundaries. The organization now worked with military families in over 40 countries, sharing strategies, providing resources, creating a worldwide community of support. The research emerging from our foundation had reshaped global understanding of military family dynamics. Academic studies, policy recommendations, technological innovations, each development was built on the foundation of our personal experience. What had begun as our individual story had become a comprehensive global approach to supporting military families. Marcus often reflected on the investigation that had started it all. What had begun as a professional courtesy had become a global mission of support. His expertise had become a crucial resource for understanding and preventing financial exploitation of military families around the world. Elizabeth Garrett had become a leading voice in international policy discussions. The case that had begun with our family had sparked a global conversation about the vulnerabilities faced by service members. Her work had led to comprehensive legal reforms, providing multi-layered protections for military households across different countries. The 15 acres of Arizona landscape now represented more than our family's history. It was a symbol of global hope, of transformation, of the incredible resilience of military families. Each building, each program was a testament to the power of turning personal pain into a broader mission of support. Sophia's children and grandchildren had grown up with a deep understanding of service, of resilience, of the importance of family support. They were now active leaders in the Foundation, continuing the mission that had begun with our personal challenge. The legacy of resilience continued to grow. As I looked back on our journey, I was struck by the incredible transformation. What Elena had intended as a calculated betrayal had become a global movement of support and empowerment. Our family had not just survived, we had created a network that would protect and support military families for generations to come. The annual Sentinel Support Global Gala had become a powerful gathering of military families, support specialists, and advocates from around the world. Each year, we honored families who had overcome challenges, who had transformed their pain into purpose. Our story remained a powerful narrative of hope and resilience on a global scale. Marcus, Elizabeth, and our entire support network had become more than professional colleagues. They had become a global family. The bonds forged through our challenging journey had created a community of support that extended far beyond our initial legal battle. Technology had transformed how we supported military families. Advanced AI-driven support systems, comprehensive digital resources, global communication platforms. Each innovation was built on the foundation of our personal experience. The digital landscape of support had been completely reshaped. As we looked to the future, we were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Our family's journey had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of resilience, of unwavering commitment, of turning personal pain into a global mission of support and transformation. The story was far from over, but we were prepared, united, committed to making a difference on a scale we could never have imagined. 30 years had passed since that fateful day when I first discovered Elena's betrayal. Our family's journey had become more than a personal story. It was a global testament to the power of resilience, transformation, and unwavering hope. The world had changed dramatically, but the core of our mission remained as powerful and relevant as ever. The Sentinel Support Foundation now stood as a global beacon of hope for military families. What had begun in the pain of personal betrayal had transformed into a comprehensive international network of support, protection, and empowerment. Sophia, now in her 50s, continued to lead the organization with the same passion and determination that had defined our initial journey. Our original 15 acres in Arizona had become a global headquarters for military family support. The property that Elena had once seen as a simple real estate opportunity had become a symbol of transformation, a living, breathing testament to the power of turning personal pain into collective purpose. Research centers, training facilities, support networks all emerged from the land that had once been the source of our greatest challenge. Marcus Reynolds, though now in his 80s, remained an honored advisor to the foundation. His investigative expertise had shaped an entire field of military family support. The methodologies he had developed continued to protect families around the world, his legacy extending far beyond his individual contributions. Elizabeth Garrett had become a global legal icon, her work in military family protection recognized internationally. The legal frameworks we had helped create had become standard practice in multiple countries, addressing the complex vulnerabilities faced by military families during deployments. The Global Conference Center, named after our family, hosted leaders from around the world. Military officials, support specialists, researchers, and family advocates gathered annually to share strategies, insights, and stories of resilience. Our personal story remained a powerful narrative of hope and transformation. Sophia's academic work had revolutionized the understanding of military family dynamics. Universities worldwide now offered comprehensive programs exploring the challenges faced by military families. What had begun as our personal struggle had become a critical field of interdisciplinary study. I had transitioned into a role of strategic mentor and occasional speaker. My experiences continued to provide insights, to offer hope, to demonstrate the incredible power of resilience. Each interaction was an opportunity to share the lessons we had learned, to show that betrayal does not have to define one's future. The technological platforms developed by Sentinel Support had become global. Standards for protecting military families, advanced AI-driven support systems, comprehensive digital resources, and innovative protection strategies had transformed how military families were supported worldwide. Our foundation had developed groundbreaking technologies that provided real-time support for military families. Digital platforms could now predict potential financial vulnerabilities, offer immediate support, and provide comprehensive protection strategies. What had begun as our personal protection strategy had evolved into a global support ecosystem. The research emerging from our foundation had reshaped global understanding of military family dynamics. Policy recommendations, technological innovations, support strategies, each development was built on the foundation of our personal experience. Our individual story had become a comprehensive, global approach to supporting military families. Sophia's children and grandchildren had become leaders in their own right. They continued the mission of supporting military families, each generation adding their own innovative approaches to the foundation's work. The legacy of resilience had become a multi-generational commitment to support and empowerment. The annual Global Gala had become a powerful celebration of resilience. Thousands of military families gathered to share stories of hope, of overcoming challenges, of transforming pain into purpose. Our family's journey remained a powerful narrative that inspired countless others. Technology had transformed how we supported military families. Artificial intelligence, predictive support systems, global communication platforms, each innovation was built on the foundation of our personal experience. The digital landscape of support had been completely reshaped by our foundation's work. As I reflected on our journey, I was struck by the incredible transformation. What Elena had intended as a calculated betrayal had become a global movement of support and empowerment. Our family had not just survived, we had created a network that would protect and support military families for generations to come. The bonds we had formed, Marcus, Elizabeth, our entire support network, had become more than professional relationships. They had become a global family, united by a commitment to supporting those who serve and their families. Our story had always been about more than financial betrayal. It was about the power of resilience, of turning personal pain into a broader mission of support. It was about proving that families can overcome incredible challenges when they stand together, when they refuse to be defined by their worst moments. To the veterans watching this, to the military families facing challenges, to anyone who has experienced betrayal or loss, this is for you. Our story proves that your darkest moment does not define you. It is how you respond, how you rise, how you transform that pain into purpose that truly matters. If you're inspired by our journey, if you want to learn more about supporting military families, if you believe in the power of resilience, subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell to join our community of hope, of support, of transformation. Our story isn't just about what happened to us, it's about what's possible when you refuse to be a victim, when you choose hope, when you turn pain into purpose. This is more than a story, this is a movement, and it's just beginning.